Hi everyone, my name is Mark Valdez and this is a demonstration of Google Earth. I will be going through some of the basic functions of Google Earth and the things that it can do, the tools that you can use, and many more. Hopefully I will go through most of them, and hopefully this can help you use Google Earth to its full potential, or the basics that you can use it for. So this is Google Earth. I downloaded it online. Just search up Google Earth on Google and it will show up the link to where you can download it. So I will be going over the layout of Google Earth, and here it is. So on your left there is the sidebar. The sidebar has three sections. It has the search section, places, and layers. So I'll just minimize this so we can concentrate on some of the things that I'm talking about. So the search function just allows you to basically search, and places, I'll go more into that later. Layers go into more detail on that later. So this is the sidebar. And next we have the quick access tools, which are shown here. The quick access area is here, and all the tools that you need and most likely we'll be using most of the time are here, and I'll be going into those tools in much detail in a bit. On our top right are just some more controls, but here is the sign in button where you can actually sign in into your Google account, and the places that you have marked favorite in your Google Maps will actually show up in this globe right here. Here are just some of the navigation tools where I'm hovering my mouse right now. So this first circular area here is your tool for looking around. So you can twist the globe, you can pan and tilt using up and down, and yes, twist using left and right. And you can twist faster just by moving the N or just grabbing the sides of this circle, just like a wheel. And you can go back to the default view by pressing the N. So you can do that too with the mouse, just by holding down on your scroll wheel. So pressing the scroll wheel anywhere you like, and if you move up, or actually down, if you move down you can actually tilt. Actually up works too, so you can do that with your scroll wheel. And if you move left and right by clicking on your mouse wheel and then moving left and right with your mouse, you actually twist the globe, much like the functions that we have in this first section of the navigation area. Next one is you actually move the globe around. You actually move the whole object, not just your view. So if you press right, you go around the globe towards your right, so counterclockwise, and then you go clockwise. If you press left, and then you go above the globe, or whatever our orientation is. If you press up and then you go down, you press down. Basic stuff. And you can do that very same function by clicking anywhere in the map and then moving your mouse around or wherever you want. So you can grab and then move the globe. Same basic functions. And the last bit of area here in this navigation tool or navigation area is the zoom in and zoom out. You can also do that with the mouse wheel or the scroll wheel. So by scrolling up and scrolling down, you actually zoom in and zoom out. And just a shortcut, if you want to go back to your default north is north and south is south, unlike this gets a bit disorienting, you can press R and actually sets it up for you. So that's cool. And that's the navigation area over here. So moving on further in the bottom right, you actually see more details of where your mouse is. So wherever your mouse is, it shows you the X and Y coordinates of where your mouse is. It also shows you the elevation and shows you the altitude depending on your view. So if you zoom in, of course, the altitude goes down. It's like you're falling down. If you zoom out, you're going out farther. It means you're going up higher. And it also shows you the date of when this area of the map was taken. So that's the layout of Google Earth. Just pressing R. Let's go back to North America. So going back to the sidebar, for example, we want to know where Richmond is. Richmond, BC. Richmond, British Columbia. So that's in Canada. Just to make sure that we go to the right place, and if you press enter, it actually does a little animation for you and slowly zooms in to that location that you have searched. If it's unsure, it will give you, it will ask you, Google Earth will ask you if you meant this location or that location. And yes. So with that, this is Richmond, BC, Canada. And that's how you use the search bar. So let's just skip places for now and move right into the layers section of the sidebar. So now that we know where Richmond is, which is this location, we want to know how to get around it. We want to know the roads that go through the city and go out of the city. We want to know more details about this particular area, and to do that we go to layers. So with layers, you can see number of checkboxes here, and the reason why it's called layers is once you check a checkbox, it keeps adding layers and layers on layers of information. So for example, we want to know the roads in Richmond. So we check the checkbox for roads, and it actually shows us the different roads. Neat, right? So that's roads. And we want to make a trip, and then with that we want to make a trip to the United States from Richmond. So we want to know where the border actually is and how to get there through Richmond or from Richmond. So you can't really see it in this view, but so that's the borders unchecked, and if we check the borders, you can actually see where the 49th parallel is, and actually goes up to here. So most likely this is where the border is. Somewhere here. Yep. So that's where you go through. Coming from Richmond, you have to go down here to go to the United States. So just for good measure, let's try pressing, I'll try pressing the weather, see what happens. Whoa. So weather here actually superimposes weather patterns over the globe. So you can actually see temperature, where it could rain, so these areas, and so much more. But we'll take that out so we can actually see what we're doing. So that's layers. You can download Google Earth for yourself and try some more of these layers. But we'll proceed to the quick access tool, which are quick access tools, which are here in the top section of the window. So let's try using the first tool that we see here. The first one is just to hide the sidebar, but we'll need that. So place marker. So with place marker, you can actually save a location that's not a landmark and won't usually show up if you press layers. For example, homes. For example, let's pick a random spot, arbitrary spot. Let's say, let's say I live here, somewhere in this area, somewhere close by, like right here, near the road. So I live along Francis Road. So let's type here. You can add the name of the place marker, my home. You can add, this is, you can add details. This is where I live. You can add links, images. Then you can change the label color of the text. You can change the color of the place marker. Let's make it green. And some more details that you can add and customize. So that's that. Next one is adding polygons. So for example, having lived here, let's say I know that there are some areas on the road that are accident prone area, and I want to mark that just to make sure I can tell people, like save a screenshot of this area. Oops, already drawing. Let's do that again. So accident, oops, prone area. So we just make a square somewhat, and this stretch of the road is the accident prone area. So this is where accidents most likely happen. So we can change the line color. We don't need to do that, but we can change the area color, which is very important if you want to make things stand out. And just more details again. So we'll save. So this area is accident prone area. And this is near my home. So going back to places again, we've marked a number of areas, and it actually shows here in the places, which is neat because you can save a number of places, and you can, if you go out of the view of, for example, the home, our home, the my home that I placed a place mark in, you can actually press it again, and Google Earth will bring us there once we press that. Awesome. So moving on, adding a path. It's pretty much the same as adding a place marker or adding a polygon. But this time it's just a line. So let's say from home to my buddy's place, let's name him Francis, arbitrary name, or it's because I'm on Francis Road. And path to and from Francis's place. Right, so let's start drawing this out. So this is where I live. So we'll go out of the driveway. And then turn here, turn right, and let's just say Francis lives somewhere. Let's say Francis lives in this house. So that's my path. Then we can actually change the width of the line so we can see better. Then change the color. Let's change it to yellow. So that's the path I can take if I want to go to Francis's place. Excuse me. Just some more details over here. Actually shows us the length of the road. So it's 1.21 kilometers from my house to Francis's place. And we can actually, let's just, for good measure, again, let's put Francis's house. There we go. Let's put a place marker. Oh, it's right there. Let's change this color just so we know we can differentiate. Blue. And that's that. That's not blue. What's going on? Actually, oh, okay. Just darkens. Oh. So, that's weird. That doesn't look blue at all. But yeah, that's a place marker. So moving on. I've actually searched this up and I actually did some research before recording this. So one thing about living in Richmond is that you have a hazard of being in a liquefaction area. What this means is when there's an earthquake, the earth or the ground below you could actually break apart and seep water in and could actually sink when an earthquake happens. So doing a quick search in, let's see, doing a quick search in Google. So Richmond liquefaction map actually brought me here, and I found a map of the areas that are included in the liquefaction hazard area in Richmond. So this is it. The reason why I'm talking about this is the next tool that we can use is adding an image overlay where you can actually superimpose a picture, and the picture that I used was that picture that I showed a couple of seconds ago. So let's just type a name, Richmond, if I can type correctly, liquefaction hazard map. And we can go to desktop, and I actually had to go to Photoshop and edit out some of the other stuff just so we can get a better view of the area. So I deleted out all the whites and the sea and things like that. So with that, you can resize this to actually fit the map. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. If I can just zoom out, then stretch this out farther. Somewhat like that. And yeah, you can actually adjust the opacity too, just to be more precise, and you can twist and just to make sure you have it aligned properly. But I've done this a while ago, and here it is, the Richmond liquefaction hazard map. And I can get info and actually make this more opaque, so you can actually see the areas. So blue is the least likely, least severe effect, or least likely to sink when an earthquake happens. And the red ones are the most likely. So this area will be flooded. This area, medium, and so on and so forth. But this blue area here is the least likely to be affected. And yeah, so that's a very important tool if you really want to know more about, for example, where you live and all the different details that are available about it online. You can superimpose a map showing a number of things, for example, land titles or land areas, for example, traffic effect, or areas that have a lot of traffic. There's a map for that, and some other map, for example, Let's see, or we'll make up random stuff. Let's say fire hazardous area. For example, if you live near a forest and there's a map available online that shows you where the areas, where the fire prone areas are on the map, then you can superimpose that on Google Earth, which is a very cool function. It actually stays there even though you zoom out and zoom in. And here are just a couple more tools for recording a video and history, so on and so forth. But those are, but here are just some of the basic tools that you can use, and some of the basic things that you can do in Google Maps. And some of the drawbacks, I haven't seen anything really besides this oddly colored place marker. But other than that, depending on what you need it for, I think that's where the drawbacks will happen. But for basic use and for simple use like this, I think it's a very reliable software. But for statistics wise, and if you want to start a business and you want to know like fine details of the elevation and the terrain and everything that's all the details within that land that you want to know more about, there's a pro version of Google Earth. Let's see, I have it here, and here are just some of the differences between the free version and the pro version. So the pro version has large data sets, geocode addresses, JS data, and some other stuff that you can read on Google's website. But for, again, all intents and purposes of this this walkthrough, this review, and just to show you the basic functions, the free version is more than enough. And with that, thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you learned a lot of things about Google Earth and how it's very useful for just basic things that you want to do and want to find out about different areas in the world. You can explore and have a virtual tour of the Earth and so many more. It's a very educational tool, and it's free, so download it and try it and have fun.